You know that person who checks their phone during lunch? The one scrolling Instagram while everyone's talking? Before you judge them as rude or addicted, science just discovered something surprising. They might not be ignoring you. They might be regulating. If you've ever felt more comfortable with a screen in your hand than making eye contact, this is for you. Today, we're unpacking the psychology of people who need digital buffers. And it's not what you think. Here's what most people don't understand. For some brains, direct human interaction is like staring into bright lights. It's too much, too intense, too fast. Social information comes at you from everywhere. Facial expressions, tone of voice, body language, the words themselves. Your brain has to process it all at once. Psychologists call this a social processing load. And for some people, that load is exhausting. The phone isn't a distraction. It's a pressure valve. It gives their brain a break from reading the room. Just 10 seconds of scrolling can reset their nervous system enough to stay present. It's not rudeness. It's survival mode. Think about it like this. Imagine you're at a party and everyone's talking at once. Music's blaring, someone's laughing loud, your friend is telling a story, and you're supposed to react to all of it simultaneously. For most people, that's fun. For others, it's like their brain is a computer with too many tabs open. Everything starts buffering. The phone becomes the close tabs button. It's not about escaping the moment. It's about being able to handle the moment at all. But there's another reason people reach for their phones. Digital spaces feel safer than physical ones. Why? Because you control the pace. You can pause, reread, take your time responding. Nobody's waiting for your face to react in real time. For people with social anxiety or autism spectrum traits, this control is everything. In real life, conversations move fast. Someone tells a joke. Everyone laughs. You're still processing what was funny. Miss a social cue, and suddenly you're the weird one. But online, you can edit before you send. You can think before you speak. You can be the version of yourself that actually makes sense. That's not fake connection. That's accessible connection. And here's the thing nobody talks about. Some people are better at reading emotion through text than through faces. They catch the subtle shift in punctuation, the choice of emoji, the time someone takes to respond. They're fluent in a language most people don't even know exists. So when someone says they feel closer to online friends than real-life ones, maybe that's not sad. Maybe that's just where they can actually see people clearly. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Research shows that people who communicate better through text often have deeper friendships than people who only connect face-to-face. Why? Because they're more thoughtful. They choose their words carefully. They're not performing or filling silence. They're actually communicating. And some of the most meaningful relationships today exist primarily through screens. That late-night message from a friend who really gets you? The voice note where someone says exactly what you needed to hear? That's real intimacy. The world just hasn't caught up yet. There's also this. Digital communication removes a lot of the superficial stuff. You're not being judged on how you look, how you dress, whether you're smiling enough. The focus shifts to what you're actually saying. For people who've always felt misunderstood in person, that's freedom. They finally get to be heard for their thoughts, not their presentation. Society keeps pushing this idea that real connection only counts in person. The coffee dates, the dinner parties, the look someone in the eye culture. But what if that's just one way to connect? What if for some people, a voice note is more honest than a phone call? A text more vulnerable than a conversation? What if typing out your feelings at 2 in the morning is braver than small talk at brunch? That's not disconnection. That's just a different language. And maybe it's time we stop treating it like second best. Maybe it's time we recognize that connection isn't about the medium. It's about the meaning. Now here's the part we need to talk about. Some people use their phones to hide, not to regulate. Scrolling becomes numbing. The screen becomes a wall they build between themselves and everyone else. They're not checking in with friends. They're checking out of life. And that's when it shifts from coping tool to isolation trap. So ask yourself this. After you check your phone in a social situation, do you feel more ready to engage? Or more tempted to stay in your digital bubble? Do you put it down feeling recharged? Or do you feel emptier than before? Because one is regulation, the other is avoidance. And your mental health depends on knowing the difference. If scrolling makes you feel worse, if you're using your phone to avoid feelings instead of processing them, that's worth paying attention to. There's a difference between needing a buffer and building a barrier. One helps you connect. The other keeps you alone. But for those who genuinely connect better through digital means, you're not antisocial. You're differently social. You notice things in written words that others miss. You create space for people to be real without the performance pressure of face-to-face. Psychologists call this asynchronous communication preference. Your brain works better with a buffer. And that's not a flaw. It's just your wiring. You're the person who sends a thoughtful paragraph while everyone else sends quick replies. You're the one who remembers what someone said 3 weeks ago because you can scroll back and reread. You're building connection your way, and that's valid. So if you're someone who feels more yourself behind a screen, who sends paragraphs at midnight instead of small talk at parties, who'd rather have 3 deep online friendships than 20 shallow real-life ones, listen carefully. You're not broken. You're not less than. You're just wired for intentional connection over instant reaction, for depth over speed, for thought over performance. And the world needs people like you. The ones who actually mean what they say because they had time to figure out how to say it. Now I want to know, do you connect better digitally or in person? Drop a comment. If this video made you rethink how you see connection, hit subscribe. More psychology that actually makes sense is coming your way.